You already know the exact sound this video is about. It is the sound of a service advisor taking a breath before he tells you the number. You bought the German SUV because it felt like the last word in engineering, and for 3 or 4 years it absolutely was. Then the factory warranty ended, and the car quietly changed jobs. It stopped being the thing you were proud of and became the thing you were a little afraid of. Here is the part nobody printed in the brochure. A BMW X5 today scores just 2 out of 5 for reliability from the independent garages that actually fix them. And the big 3 German names shed half their value or more in just 5 years, partly because the same brilliance that wins the test drive turns into 4-figure repair bills the moment the cover runs out. You did not buy a bad car. You bought a car designed to be expensive forever. And so Talk-O-Vision went looking for the opposite. 5 Chinese SUVs built to drive straight past the mileage where a German starts charging you like a second mortgage, each one ranked against the exact car it is here to replace. And because this channel never hands you a clean story without the asterisk, you get the one honest catch on all 5. Let us get into it. We start in 5th, and we start with a plot twist most people get wrong about a Chinese car. This one is not built in China. The Xpeng G9. Drive a G9 in Europe and the car underneath you rolled out of a factory in Graz, Austria, run by Magna Steyr, the same contract manufacturer that has spent years assembling cars for Mercedes, BMW and Jaguar on that very site. Xpeng moved G9 and G6 production there in late 2025, partly to step around the European tariffs, but the side effect is the part that matters to you. The car is screwed together to the exact European standard, in the same plant culture as the premium badges it is busy undercutting. And it lines up directly against the German electric establishment, the BMW iX3 and the Audi Q7 e-tron, on the 3 numbers that decide it. It is cheaper to buy. It charges faster on an 800-volt architecture that takes the battery from 10 to 80% in around 12 minutes. And it is covered for far longer, with a 7-year vehicle warranty and an 8-year battery warranty against the Germans' usual 3 or 4. The long-range version covers more than 500 kilometers on the European cycle and holds a full 5-star Euro NCAP rating. But the real durability story is aimed at the German SUV you actually used to own, because the G9 has no turbocharger to cook, no timing chain to stretch, the exact failure that hands an Audi Q7 owner a bill of anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000, and no dual-clutch gearbox to shudder itself apart the week after the cover runs out. An electric drivetrain simply deletes the components that turn a 6-year-old combustion German into a money pit. Now the part the launch event skipped. Xpeng is still a young badge outside China. The dealer and service network is thinner than the Germans you already know, and the rear-drive version is sensible rather than savage. So if you want genuine pace, you pay for the dual-motor car. But as the entry point to this list, a European-built 800-volt family SUV with nothing combustion-shaped left to break, the G9 is the gentlest possible way to walk away from German maintenance. Bills for good. Climb to 4th, and the durability question changes shape completely. It stops being about who assembles the car and starts being about how long the single most expensive part inside it can possibly live. The BYD Tang. This is the 7-seat one, the full-size electric SUV aimed squarely at the families who used to sign for an Audi Q7 or any of the big German 7-seaters. 3 rows, a 108.8 kilowatt-hour battery, and around 530 kilometers of range on the European cycle, from the one company you cannot wave away. BYD builds more electric vehicles than anybody on the planet, and that scale is the reason it can do the thing this list is actually about. That thing is the Blade battery. BYD's lithium iron phosphate pack is rated for more than 5,000 full charge cycles. Sit with that figure for a second in real terms. 5,000 cycles against a 500-kilometer range is well over 1 million kilometers of theoretical capacity before the battery is finished, which means the pack is engineered to outlive not just the warranty, but very probably the bodywork wrapped around it. where an aging German SUV is a countdown of expensive failures waiting to happen. The Tang's single most expensive component is the part least likely to ever let go. BYD backs it with an 8-year battery warranty on top of the vehicle cover, and it does not flinch doing it because lithium iron phosphate is the tough, stable, slow-to-fade chemistry that shrugs off the school runs and the road trips that wear lesser packs down. The honest catch here is geography, and it is a real one. The Tang is on sale across Europe, and it has landed in South Africa, but it has been ruled out for Australia, so a chunk of this channel's own audience cannot simply walk in and buy one, and you should check your own market before you fall for it. It is also a heavy machine that drives like the big barge it is, rather than anything sporting, and the cabin leans hard on its touchscreen for everything. But if you want 3 rows of seats wrapped around a battery built to outlast the finance, the mortgage, and quite possibly you, the Tang makes the German 7-seaters look fragile and overpriced in the very same breath. Quick word before the top 3, because this is where the cars stop merely matching the Germans and start embarrassing them. If you have ever stood at a German service desk listening to a number you did not see coming, subscribe, because the next 3 are engineered so that exact conversation never happens to you again. Now, the podium. Number 3, the Avatr 11. And the reason it sits this high has as much to do with the 3 names standing behind it as the car in front of you. Avatr is what happens when 3 Chinese giants pool their best work into one badge. Changan, one of the oldest and largest car makers in the country, builds it. Huawei, the telecoms and electronics powerhouse, supplies the brains, the software, and the driver assistance stack. And CATL, the biggest battery manufacturer on Earth, provides the cells. For a buyer whose deepest fear about a premium Chinese car is that the company quietly disappears and takes the service network down with it, that ownership structure is the answer. These 3 are not going anywhere. What they have built is a direct shot at the Porsche Macan Electric and the Audi Q7 e-tron. The all-wheel drive Avatr 11 makes around 578 horsepower from a battery of nearly 117 kilowatt-hours on a 750-volt architecture, and it is the electronics where it pulls ahead of the Germans rather than merely matching them. The Huawei software and interface is a genuine generation beyond the laggy, infuriating infotainment that German owners complain about constantly, and that matters for longevity in a way people underrate. One of the most common things to actually go wrong on a modern German SUV is no longer the engine. It is the electronics, the modules and the screens and the sensors. Avatr handed that exact job to a company that builds some of the best consumer electronics in the world. And it underwrites the hardware properly with an 8-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty on the battery and the powertrain. The 2 things you would actually lose sleep over. It is the rare premium electric SUV where the badge is new, but every critical supplier behind it is a heavyweight with a reputation to protect. The catch is the one that comes with being this exclusive. Avatr sells widely across the Gulf, where it lands somewhere around 165 to 180,000 dirhams, and it is rolling into Europe, but in a lot of markets it is still arriving rather than established, so the nearest showroom may be a flight away rather than down the road. You are buying early, but you are buying early into a car backed by 3 of the most powerful companies in the entire industry, which is about as safe as early ever gets. Adjacent place is held by the most aristocratic car on this entire list, and quietly one of the most overbuilt, the Hongqi EHS9. To understand why a name most Western buyers cannot even pronounce belongs above almost everything here, you have to know what Hongqi is. The name means red flag, and since 1958 it has been the mark that builds the official state limousines for China's most senior leaders. It is the closest thing China has to its own Rolls-Royce, a brand whose entire reason to exist is to be built to a standard where failing in front of the wrong passenger is simply not an option. The EHS9 is what happens when that obsession gets poured into a full-size electric SUV. Look at it and you can read the intent. It is a 5.2-meter limousine on stilts, all chrome and presence, styled to trade blows with a Mercedes GLS, a BMW X7, even a Bentley Bentayga. Inside, it is a lounge, and it is hauled along by a fully electric drivetrain, which means all that imperial weight is being moved by motors and a battery, not by a stressed twin-turbo engine slowly shaking itself to pieces. There is a version with a 120 kilowatt-hour battery for proper touring range, dual motors, and the kind of cosseting that makes the German establishment's own flagships feel a little mean. Now the part that turns admiration into disbelief. In Norway, the first European market it entered, the EHS9 has been priced from somewhere around 60,000 euros. A comparably sized, comparably trimmed Mercedes GLS or BMW X7 starts at very nearly double that and then depreciates off a cliff. You are looking at a state limousine-grade luxury SUV backed by FAW, one of China's 4 giant state-owned car makers, for the price of a mid-spec German family car. The company behind it has more institutional permanence than almost any private brand on earth, which means the orphan risk that haunts cheaper Chinese cars barely applies to it. The honest catch matters here because nobody should buy on romance alone. The EHS9 is a heavy, soft, imperial thing to drive, not a backroad weapon, and its real-world range sits behind the sharpest new electric SUVs, comfortably over 400 km rather than chasing 600. The dealer and service network outside China, Norway, and a handful of Middle Eastern cities like Dubai is still thin, so this is a car for specific markets, not every driveway. But as a statement of how completely the value equation has flipped, a Chinese state car brand humiliating the German luxury flagships on price, while very probably outlasting them, the EHS9 is almost unfair. Number 1. The NIO EL8. And it takes the top spot because it does something no other car on this list, and no German SUV ever made, can do. It makes the single part that ages in any electric car simply stop being your problem. Here is the logic, and once you have seen it, you cannot unsee it. In any modern car, combustion or electric, there is one component that quietly decides when the whole thing becomes worthless. In a German SUV, it is the tangle of engine, turbo, and gearbox. In an electric car, it is the battery, the one expensive part that slowly fades whether you baby it or not. NIO looked at that problem and flatly refused to accept it. The EL8 does not ask you to own its battery at all. You drive into one of NIO's swap stations, and in under 5 minutes, with you still sitting in the car, a robot removes your depleted pack and slots in a fully charged one. No cable, no waiting, and crucially, no aging. Under the company's battery-as-a-service plan, the pack is not even yours. It is a subscription, constantly maintained, constantly swapped, and upgradable to a newer, denser battery as the technology moves on. Think about what that does to the central fear of long-term ownership. The German SUV owner spends years dreading the slow death of expensive components. The EL8 owner can be driving a 15-year-old car with a brand new battery in it, fitted that morning, that they never paid to replace. It is the one mechanism in this entire countdown that does not merely slow aging down. It quietly winds it backwards, and to make the promise concrete on the parts they do own, NIO writes a 10-year, unlimited mileage warranty on the battery, the motor, and the core electric system. Unlimited mileage, that is a number a company prints only once it has stopped worrying about the hardware entirely. The car wrapped around that idea is a proper flagship too. The EL8 is a 6-seat luxury SUV, and let me be exact about that, because seat counts are precisely where lists like this go wrong. 6 seats, laid out 2 by 2 by 2 with proper captain's chairs in the middle and a third row behind them, aimed straight at the BMW X7 and the Audi Q8. It runs dual motors for around 480 kilowatts, launches to 100 kilometers an hour in just over 4 seconds, carries a 100 kilowatt-hour pack good for around 500 kilometers on the European cycle, and trims its cabin in the kind of lounge-grade materials that make its German rivals feel surprisingly austere for the money. The catch is the flip side of that swap. network. The magic only works where the stations exist, which today means Europe, where NIO is expanding past 500 swap stations, and the United Arab Emirates, where the first one opened at Yas Marina. Outside those footprints, you are buying the regular charging experience and waiting for the network to reach you. But where it does work, the EL8 has quietly solved the one problem that every other car on this list and every German SUV ever built can only manage and price in. It does not just outlast your German car. It refuses to grow old in the first place. So that is the 5, the Austrian-built Xpeng G9 that deletes everything combustion-shaped, the 7-seat BYD Tang with a battery built to outlive its own bodywork, the Avatr 11 backed by 3 of China's biggest names, the state limousine Hongqi EHS9 that undercuts the German flagships by half, and the NIO EL8 that simply refuses to let its battery grow old. Notice the thread running through all of them. Not one earns its place on horsepower or screen size. Every single one wins on the most unglamorous promise in motoring, the promise to still be cheap and dependable to own long after a German rival would have started billing you for the privilege of keeping it. One reality check before you go. A tariff wall well past 100% keeps almost every one of these off United States roads. So this is a list for the markets that can actually buy them across Europe, the Gulf, South Africa, Australia and beyond. Check what is genuinely on sale where you live. So before you go, I want one specific comment below. The German SUV that finally talked you out of the badge, the year, the model and the exact repair bill that did it, and which of these 5 you would park in its place. Because the car built to end that cycle for good is very probably sitting somewhere on this list. The only people who lose when that word gets around are the ones who have been billing you for the privilege all along.